So now we're going to work on part 3, and what we're going to apply for part 3 is applying all of these on every bar basically, or we want to make sure we want to continue it here with an exception of the last one. So how do we do this? So let's scroll down here. We have this nice chunk of code here. So what we want to do in here is basically to do a for each loop. So this for each loop, we're going to say here for, and then I'm going to say here let I, and the I will be, we're going to say here the I is equal to 0, and then we say here we're going to loop for every I, and I stands for iteration, as long as, and then we're going to say here we want to get the amount of bars that we see here. So we're going to say here very simple data dot data sets index 0 dot data dot length. So when we do this, we'll get the X amount of length, and then we can start to loop through this with the I iteration. So I'm going to copy all of this, put it in here, give it a proper indentation. Then I want to start changing the following here. So we have this here, and then let's just put an enter here so it's easy to read. And all of this here will be an I. And I'm going to say here as well, the I, here will be the I, here will be the I, here will be the I, and then, oh, hold on, before we even do this, we have here, every 0 will make an I. This here, we'll say I plus 1, because we want to have not only the I, whatever it is, but the next matching line here. So then we do here the same, I plus 1, and then here, I plus 1. Just watch out, don't get confused with this 1 pixel here. Alright, if I save this right now, we will get an error. And the reason why is it will be having a problem because it will keep on reading everything, including the one that doesn't exist. Because of the I plus 1, it will count more than whatever is the length. So what you need to do with the length is the length will be minus 1. Save that, refresh. There we are, and that starts to look quite nice as well. So this is all quite simple, but we have here an issue. If I'm going to show you, for example, what if I say here the X scale, and then later on I'll say here I will have a minimum, and the minimum will be 0, but the max, and 0 stands for index 0, but the max will be index 2, which would be this one. What will happen then? Let's save that, refresh, and now as you can see it starts to keep on calculating here. It will be outside of it, but I think it would be more practical to hide that. Same with this, if I do here number 1, look what happens here. It starts to overlap outside the chart area, which looks hideous. So what I need to do here is to make this intelligent, based on whatever we have here. However, if we don't have anything, we should just go to the default status. So how do we do this? Well, what we're going to do in here, let's remove this console log here. And that's why we have the X here. If I say here console log, and let me just show you X, save, refresh, open up developer tab. You can see here we get the category scale. And we get here the max and the min value, which is basically the ones that we specified here. So we can read these immediately. However, I want to make sure that it's intelligent enough to understand the following. So we're going to say here, the min value will be whatever we say if there would be a x.min. But if there's none, I want to give a default value, and the default value will be this length here minus 1. So if I do this, now I say here console log min, let's see what happened. Save, refresh, you can see a value of 1. If I remove the min, save, refresh, value will be now 3. So this is all correct, and this makes sure that we don't get any mistakes. And let's start to work on this. And then, although I'm surprised it's number 3, I was expecting number 0. Anyway, hold on. Sorry, this is of course wrong, my bad. What I want to do, this is basically calculate for the max value, which will get us the highest value. And the min value, just by default, is a very static value, say min. And of course, if there's none, we start at index 0. Very simple, that's very logical. My bad that I didn't pay attention on that. So now we have this. Make sure that this is a min value. We're going to grab this min and we're going to assign it here. We'll say the min will be equal to 0. If ever it's 0, it will be that, and the max value will be just this value here. Save that, refresh, and as you can see here now, we're clipping off the one, or it doesn't draw anything that we don't want. If I save that, look at that, absolutely phenomenal. So now we have this ready. It's time for the next part, is adding up some label values.